Hey, real quick, if I can grab your attention before we get into the content and have you head into the description where there'll be a link to my sample pack store. This is a great way you can support the channel, get something in return. If you ever found any kind of value from what I do over here and you're an MPC user or an SP44 Mark II user, I specialize in packs for that. I also got some free stuff over there, so please do head over and feel free to download those. All right. What's good, everyone? Welcome into Dream Machines. So this live stream series like solely exists to kind of indulge in the endless pursuit of trying to find the perfect piece of gear, whatever it is. You know how we talk about drum machines in here, samplers mostly. So we got a new one today. I want to do some speculation on that leak that came out from Arturia, kind of talk about what that is, and then also want to talk about what your ideal MPC might be. I'll show you what mine is, I guess, right now, currently. Some people I know will come in and be like, you know what, just be happy with what you have, which I don't disagree with at all. Because I try to do that, but, you know, gas, it always bubbles up, and then we're back in the same position. So, but this is fun. It's just lighthearted conversation. Just want to have with all you in the chat and just do some speculation, some talk. Every once in a while, it's nice because, you know what, I don't know about y'all, but I don't really have a lot of people I can talk about this in the day-to-day life. So in IRL, right, in real life. So I come online and I love doing these things, and it's been a while. I'm also have a new goal to kind of just try to stream because I actually have time available with the kids in school and my wife on vacation with the baby and all that. So I'm going to try to go a little bit hard and just do some of these live stream series that I've been wanting to do, that I've developed. You know, the gas station, which is kind of coincides with this, but that one's supposed to be more about a remedy for having a gas and just being happy with what you have. So, and then also want to talk about why I haven't really been using the MPC sample, and I've been, you know, reaching for the SP more so. So we'll talk about that a bit. So let's go ahead and get started. I want to say what's up to everybody in here. I appreciate you being here, taking your morning or whatever time it is in the part of the world that you're at. I appreciate it. Yeah, peace to you. DJ Rec, always appreciate you coming through, bro. How you been? Let's go, yeah. And who's that? Kilua? Is that how you say that? Kilua? What's good? So, yeah, man, feel free. We're going to topic to topic. I'm going to talk about ideal MPCs. And I mean, there's a lot of choices out there right now. I always go back to the MPC live regardless. I've tried a lot of them. I'd love to try the XL. You know, you got the Gen 2 Key 37, which is a retro colorway. Super nice. You know, I would have liked that from the get. But I've been on that, and Live 2, Live 3, tried it all. I always end up back at the Live because it's really all that I need. But let me pull some pictures up that I was messing around with. I gotta open up my email, and you guys go ahead and feel free to talk in the chat while I do that. Let's see. All right, so it's pretty simple. Yeah, we got the MPC sample now, super portable, right? Battery powered and all that, and it's cool. And I was really excited about it when I got it. And I'll get into like why I'm not really using it as much. But yeah, so now we got this thing, right? Gen 2, MPC 1, familiar. This is the third iteration of this, right? You got the black one. Well, then you got the retro one. Then you got the red one. The black and the retro one are the same, pretty much as specs goes. Then the plus with added Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, which, yeah. And then G2, which is what, 4 gigs and a better processor. I like the colorway in that they put gray pads, man. That's something that I've been asking. Like, they can continue with the black bodies, and I like what they did with the Live 3. The finish on it was a lot better than what they did with the previous models. But the gray pads, man, I like that. I like the contrast on that. But man, you're never happy. I remember back in the days when I had an MPC 1 and like blacking it out was the thing to do. You know, just going black pads, upgrade black buttons, all that. And I had an MPC 500 like that. Yeah, but my thought was, and let me see, hold on a sec. My mouse is acting weird. Do this. Oh, you ready? I gave it away. Anyways, here we are. So my thought was, and a lot of people have said this, what if the MPC one just had an added battery? You see that? It's called MPC 1 Plus battery. I think this would be cool. I mean, a long time ago it would have been cool, but I want to talk about it now. Because I'd be willing to pay what the Key 37 goes for this. Like, I'd pay $1K for this probably. So put $200 on it for the battery. And probably people will probably say I'm crazy, but there's some people that'll probably agree with me. I don't like to have all the extra stuff, you know, that you gotta carry with you. And how much is it really about like form factor? You know? Because when I think about this, it's like, I mean, I already have this in an MPC Live, but I'm just kind of curious, like, why this isn't an option. And I find it interesting that they released these models and they left out a bunch of things, right? Because there was some speculation prior to these G2 with the MPC 1 and the Key 37 coming out, what that would look like. Because this would be crazy if it had all the step sequencer buttons and all the added buttons, because MPC 1 already has a bunch of buttons. It probably for a while was the MPC that had more buttons out of all the units. But I like this. I like the fact that they did this, because the quadrant thing isn't a super big deal to me. It's not something that I necessarily desire, and the step sequencer buttons are not something that I necessarily desire, although they do have other functionality. But the only thing I was using it for with the Live 3 was like track selection, which I thought was cool because you can easily go through. But there's other ways of doing that, you know, just holding like the main button or the menu button, and you can select a pad to go to a different track or a different window or whatever. So yeah, the question is, like, I feel like now that they've have these MPCs, like the one that doesn't have all the added, you know, functionality of the quadrants and the buttons and all that, I don't feel like this would cannibalize the Live 3 if they put a battery in it, and then they could ask a couple $100 more for it. What do y'all think would be reasonable? Is this something you even care about at this point? I think the Live 3 is great, but again, the Live series just keeps getting bulkier, and so they kind of, you know, they brought something else out to kind of please people, and you know, I thought I was excited, but before this launched, I was asking for something more like this, or like a Live 2 miniature version. Doesn't have to be as small as the MPC sample, but you know, something that's as powerful as the Live, you know, MPC 3. So, well, let's see what y'all are thinking. Yeah, so, and I'll wait a minute to really using what's good. My dream machine would be old school sound with the new chopping system. Have you tried the MPC sample? Like, as far as old school sound, what are we talking about? Because I've never tried anything before the 1000. And in that time, that's a funny conversation for me, because I think a lot of it is nostalgia, but I couldn't really comment. I know there's some differences with something like the MPC 60 and 3000 because it was a different sample rate or different internal converters or whatever. But I remember at the time when like the 1000 was out, people were saying that didn't sound good. They were saying it sounded thin. And nowadays they say it sounds great compared to the new stuff. For me, I feel like that's a trick of the mind. I don't know. Like, I don't sit there and try to compare stuff. But actually, I do recall when I got the MPC Live, I actually thought it sounded better than my MPC Live or my MPC 1000. So I don't know. You know, it's a weird thing. People are saying the 1000 sounds good now, the 2500, and that time when I was like 18, when I first got one, people were saying they sounded thin. So it's like the same pattern, you know, and that's natural, man. And I'm very aware of human nature. That's why I'm like, you know, I know this is an endless pursuit for the perfect piece of gear, because what's perfect for everybody is different, right? So now we got the MPC samples, so we can kind of shift into that in a second as I go through this. But yeah, with the MPC sample, I don't know about sound really, but you got kind of a new chopping system, but somewhat of a more, in a way, old way of workflow. but probably not 100% there. I don't know about those. Like when I look at those screens, like on an MPC 63000, you don't have waveforms, which I've done with the 500, but I'm not sure I would want to go back to that. Although for a period I thought I did. You know, that's just me like telling myself. I think you make excuses when you get pieces of gear and you're trying to like validate it. Like I had gotten because I loved the 500 when I had it, and I bought it probably a couple years again. You know, got a used one, whatever, and started making. I probably made one video with it, but then it was about chopping. And I was like, you don't need your eyes to chop, and you don't, but it's still nice, right? I don't think I necessarily want to go back to that. You know, I've eyed like the P6 with the little digit screen, like the old alarm clock screen. I'm like, nah, I probably don't want to do that. I mean, it looks cool though. DP Pad Lab, what's good? Would love an MPC Key 37 with 8 gigabytes of RAM with battery, speakers, and option to add SSD. I own MPC Live 3, Key 37 G2 sample. I also own XL for 3 months. Yeah, your name. I think I've seen some of your videos, man. You're the guy that you had the original Key 37 and then you like customized it and then gave it to your like nephew or something. That's what I'm recalling with you. And so you got the G2 now, the actual from the factory retro. Heck yeah. But yeah, those features would be nice to add on there. It is cool, like some of the things that like MPC stuff comes up with, as far as that, like the little battery pack you can put on the side and all that stuff. And it's cool what you could mod with these, but unless you're comfortable. I mean, like some of the outward stuff. Like I was thinking just this the other day. It'd be nice to find someone who does the customization of putting batteries into MPC ones, but it doesn't seem to exist. Some people have done it on their own, but I guess there's reasons why people won't tackle that as a service. I don't know what exactly it is. Just safety reasons and concerns. But yeah, there's some cool options. You know, like I had the one retro and got a battery for it, and it worked pretty well. And you got like the little stand that MPC stuff does that you can like attach to it and slide a battery compartment in, or like a battery in there. It's got a little compartment in place for it. Pretty cool stuff. But yeah, if they did proper 12-bit output cards based off the 60 or the S900, 950, that would be great. The onboard sound card is a weak spot for me, really. So my question is here, and which probably kind of goes back to the same desire, like the answer to the same desire for me wanting a battery in the MPC one to some degree. Like, you know, have you tried, and why not just like plug in some sort of a USB or like just have like a preamp that goes in prior, or a USB preamp that sounds better than the MPC itself. Ali Star, what is good, man? How you been? Porch Base, what's up? Live 2 Mini would be great. Yeah, for sure. Dream MPC, other than the flagship, is the mini MPC that isn't trying to be a vintage MPC 60. Did you end up getting a sample? You had one, don't you? Yeah, so I'm kind of curious, like people who are in here who have had the MPC sample, how are you feeling about it now after, you know, kind of some of the newness of it is worn off? Like I was all in. I sold all my other MPCs, and then I tried to record a song, some vocals, and then I was like, all right, I need to get a live one again, make this easy on myself. The MPC 60 sounds different. Put an 808 kick on a 2K XL and it's weak sauce. Really? But some people today would probably say the 2K XL sounds better than the newer MPCs. What would you say about that? Yeah, that is you. Cool, man. I thought that was super dope of you. I've wanted to do that too, like gift people MPCs, because I've had so many, but you know I end up having to pay bills, and then you know my you know kind of giving side of me just kind of evaporates. World needs a hero. What is good? I'm good with the Live 3. Everything I need, more than enough, for sure. Good. I'm happy that you're satisfied with what you got. Kane, oh, what's good? Sample's still dope. DJ Rec, you were talking smack on a sample, but you're still loving it. Has it grown on you? Because I feel like we're the opposite now. I mean, I think it's cool still, but like now kind of segueing into what I'm talking about, why I'm not reaching for the MPC sample is because the 404 just does things. I just like the way it does things a lot better than this. Like I enjoy the fact this does things better, but it's very few things that it does better versus what this does better than this, you know. And of course, like I've been wanting non-destructive chopping on an SP, been asking for that. This has it, that does that very well. But then stuff like the chromatic mode, I like how the chromatic mode works in this. I've even got scales in this. I can't do this, can't do scales on the MPC sample. I mean, I've made like a little, I ended up putting stickers on it, and then I pulled the stickers off, but I ended up laminating one so that I can just like sit it over there. See this? And then I got scales right there, just major and minor scales though. So that was a workaround, which is fine. That could end up working, but I just like how it works in the SP. And then I think the biggest thing for me, two of the biggest things is the resampling on this on the MPC sample is very awkward compared to on the SP. Like you can resample anything really quickly by a touch of a pad and then resample to another pad. This having to like sequence stuff, and maybe I just didn't take some time. Like I found some workarounds. I even at one point was going to make a video I was excited about on a pretty decent workaround for sampling stuff directly to a pad. But again, it's just like this does it so much better. And things like the looper in here. But the main thing that put me off the MPC sample was trying to record vocals in it, which I do like how recording external audio works. It's great that you can, you know, just hit record and select a pad as your sequence is already playing, and it'll do like a little countdown, or it'll wait actually until it hits, the loop comes back around, and that's cool, especially if you got 4-bar loops and you're coming up with a hook idea. And this is maybe not a big problem people share if they're not trying to do stuff like this, because they're not like crazy like me, where you're just gonna go choose a laptop and a DAW to do this kind of thing. But I'm weird like that, and I'd rather just try to do the most I can in one little box. So yeah, so that works for the hooks fine, because you're just waiting 4 bars, and that countdown, that wait is not long. But then, you know, I recorded a hook successfully. It sounded good, you know, I was on point. And then I was like, okay, let me try to record this verse. And I'm like, wait, I might have to wait 12 to 16 bars to wrap around just to get a nice loop that hits on the 1, right? And I'm weird, like I want it to be like that. I don't want to have to pretend like I'm on my MPC 500 and just line it up, like trigger my whole verse. I want it to line up so I can trigger it on the 1, and regardless if I start rapping on the 1, it's gonna be lined up. So that was the biggest factor for me, knowing that MPCs exist out there where I have audio tracks. But what would actually solve that would be if they could just do like a countdown for making those loops. You know what I mean? So instead of it being instead of it like waiting for a loop to come back, you can just do a count in. And the SP can do that. Like that's exactly how it works actually. On some level I like how this works, but then when it comes to if I wanted to do a verse in here, which I've tried and it works nicely, I can just hit resample, strike a pad, and then wait for a countdown and then start performing my verse. So that's the main thing, the main two things I think. So, and then I mean the effects. I think some of the effects on here are cool, which now since having this, one thing that I use, because I'm also, aside from like doing vocals, another thing I enjoy doing is some sound design, mainly creating drum kits, and I like to shape my drum sounds. And a big one that I use on the MPC is like the transient shaper. I forget if that's what it's called exactly, but I use a transient shaper quite a bit, like on hi-hats, for example. You know, you sample a hi-hat off of vinyl, it might be kind of dull. This depends on what the sample is, but just putting that effect on there and messing with the attack on it. And there might be some workarounds. I've been looking into that on how I can do it on the SP. But that's one cool about this. But this gives you more options, and the fact that resampling is a lot easier, because when I'm designing sounds, a lot of times in here, I want to resample, EQ, and I just do that in steps from pad to pad very simply. This, I've done some, and I actually made a whole pack doing it through here, but it was kind of tedious compared to this. So I think those are my main reasons why. This just has more options as far as the way you can do things and do it smoothly. Sampling is smooth. So I do miss out on some of the things it can do. Like one thing that I wanted is just copy pad information like mute groups, the instant chopping or the manual, the non-destructive chopping. But yeah, other than that, I think the SB handles things very well. And now in retrospect, I'm like, I don't necessarily need non-destructive chopping, but that doesn't mean I won't request it. I'm definitely already like, I wrote a big list of things I think that would make this better, and I'm gonna save that for another stream about one like this. It'll probably be a Dream Machines episode where I'm just talking about what would make this the perfect SP404, or maybe even imagine an SP303 with some of the things that are in that. But some of it is very reasonable, and I feel like it should have, just like the non-destructive stuff. Porchface says, I have a USB mixer I use instead of the Live 2 sound card. Okay, I love the sample, but it needs a machine to work with it. What do you mean by that? A machine to work with it? So yeah, man, I'm like really on the fence because I'm trying to decide which machine I want to keep, and I'm leaning towards this. But then again, I'm like, yo, this is so new. If I sell this, I'm sure they'll come up with an update the next day, and it'll have a lot of the things that I wanted. It's so brand new. So I'm not sure. I'm kind of like fighting in my head about whether, because it's so new and the history of Akai or in music, updating MPCs has been really good. But then again, looking at it from another perspective, is this thing is intentionally restricted, intentionally. So how much will they actually add? Will they at least try to compete and loosen some of the kind of rigid workflow on a sample and make it similar to the SP, like it's with the resampling and stuff? So I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a tough one for sure. Let's see. World Needs a Hero. I love the sample. Been live streaming with the past few days. That's what's up. I had to check some of those out. I like the Live 2 and using it with the old 2000 OG. Okay, the original one. See, I've never tried those machines. The warping on the sample sounds so good. Yeah, that is a definite bonus. I really like the time stretch is good, and it's so smooth because you really don't even need to know the tempo of your original sample for it to work. All you got to know is how many beats. You just got to know how to count beats. But a lot of times it already counts the beats for you, and you don't even need to go in there and select how many beats the sample is. So you can just hit the time stretch and then turn it to sequence, and it's good. So definitely still a toy, but dope for what it is. Kane, no, it's a Mark II. If they up the price of this mini standard that this sample is, then it could compete functionality with the 404. And I could see them doing that. That has happened with products, right? Where they've, improved it and the price has gone up. Jared and Bands, what's good? Yeah, I mean, which one do I like better? I'm going to say right now I like the 404 better. But when I first got the sample, I liked it better. But also, I hadn't used my 404 in a while to be able to compare the two. So, but just for the reasons that I already stated, I'm liking the 404 better. But with an upgrade, I could possibly like this better. But I don't know. It's tough. But I'm leaning towards this right now. This is what I'm using most of, even over my live right now. But I'm very aware of myself. So I'm trying not to make like choices that I'll end up having to go fix or like end up buying something else. So that's why I'm like kind of hesitant to sell it. But yeah, so because I know I think in like kind of stages. So right now I'm really loving the SP, but I might be bored of that soon and want to pull out the live, and so that's what it is. They could get a mini screen, like a phone screen, with a machine the size of the sample, then get the full software experience of the main MPCs. That's what I've been saying, you know. That's what I think a Live 2 Mini could look like, you know, with the speaker and all that. Give it the MPC, or just make it an MPC 1 Mini. Like, just kind of shrink that down and put a phone size screen, because then you have the miniature, the pads, and you're saving real estate. But I don't know the ins and outs of building that, but that's what I would desire, I think. What we want means a screen to cater for it. Please keep both and enjoy best of both worlds. I think the live, what is that, INE? The live will, are you just saying the live will go nice with your Mark II? Oh, the live 1. Yeah. So that's mainly what I got now, so. All right, well, let's get to it. Let's start speculating a little bit. You guys have seen this whole deal with the leak from Arturia. I think it was late last week. We got something called the DrumFreak, right? Let's see if I can pull it up. So, yeah. So what is this thing? I'm actually confused. Is it clear to you all what this is? Okay, so I'm looking at it from two different perspectives. Like, when I first saw it, when I saw the name, and when I saw the overall design of it, the color of it, I'm thinking drum synthesis, right? Because it says drum, it says freak, like the mini freak or the micro freak, which is a synth. And so I'm a bit confused, because then on the other end, I see like a sample button, and then what's also tripped me out is the chords button. So it's, at first, just initially, without like kind of evaluating some of the buttons on there, I'm like, okay, this is drum synthesis. And maybe the sample button is, you can just select samples and it works with samples to synthesize other sounds, you know what I mean? So you get like drum sound design synthesis all kind of in one. And maybe it's a groove box too. But then chords is kind of like, okay, what? Why chords then? You know, is this going to have also a synth engine? Well, maybe, most likely. Will it have any of the other Arturia stuff, like Astrolab? That would be cool. So is it really just a drum synth with some groove box kind of functionality? Or are they going for something that kind of competes in the world of the standalone DAW that we see MKII pushing, you know what I mean? Either way, I mean, I think that would be really cool. And I think that's awesome that we're seeing all this stuff, because this, man, it's kind of a dream now. There's a lot of options, you know? And so it's cool to see people starting to, you know, I think I would have to say MKII kind of has led the way with this in forcing people, or like making companies start building hardware again, right? Because we were in software controller world for a while. I've been around long enough to see it, you know, from like being 18 and having my first MPC 1000 to MKII making the 5000, which I never tried, and then just building controllers and being like, okay, I'll try these, but still desiring a hardware piece. So yeah, it's interesting what this could be, because if this is a sampler, because it could be a couple things. It could either just be a sampler in regard that you can sample sounds in it for drum synthesis, or maybe it's kind of like the machines we like over here, where we can chop samples and rearrange them. But I'm just thinking, like, if that's what it is, if it is something that's competing in the world of the SP44 MPC, I guess TE, in that world, machine, a much better name for it would have been Sample Freak. Don't you think? Because DrumFreak, just being that says drum and freak, just screams this is drum synthesis, like, you know. But those two buttons, just the sample and the chords, kind of throw me off. So I haven't really, and there's a sounds button too, so that's interesting, right? Like the MPC has a sounds button, which is like the browser. So I don't know. Let's see what else we can look at. See if there's some more pictures here. Just in this, I don't know, here we go. Okay, we got some I/O, headphones, outputs, has 2 auxiliaries, and the rest is blurry back there. But yeah, I would think Sample Freak, if it was more something that I would care about, and a lot of you here, I mean, I can't speak for y'all, but I know y'all are using these boxes probably in a similar way. Some of you sampling, chopping, but will it have that? And another thing is, which is totally speculation, that just came to my mind, is if this is mostly a drum synth, it would be awesome if they came out with a Sample Freak, and if they kind of pulled one out of Novation's book and did something like this, where they have, maybe they had the DrumFreak, which is like the circuit tracks equivalent, which is, you know, synthesis and groove box kind of thing, and then have a circuit rhythm, which is the sampler version, same body, different kind of visual look as far as just the colorway. So I mean, that's totally speculation, right? You know, but companies have done it, and Novation isn't the first to do it. Korg had these guys right here, Electribes. The blue one was a synth, Groovebox, and then the red one was the sampler. So I mean, it's a stretch to say, but I just feel like if the DrumFreak is a sampler in what I would desire, and some of y'all would desire in like a sample manipulation, chopping, sequencing, Groovebox, then I think it's a missed opportunity to call it the Sample Freak. I think that would have been much better, but who knows? I just don't trust Arturia. Why is that? Micro Freak all about drums. It'll be for electro beat makers. Huh. Yeah, I mean, the freak name and the drum part just scream that, like I said. So I mean, if that's what it is, it probably won't be for me. I mean, if I could do some sound design, I'm not really into the synth sound overall. Like, probably an unpopular opinion, because I know so many people love the Mini and the Micro Freak, and I wanted one for a long time. And when I got an opportunity to try the Mini Freak, I didn't like it. I just didn't like how it sounded, and that's just could be my limitation. My desire are more acoustic sounds, and I wanted to try a synth, but I just couldn't get into it. Like, to begin with, if I was going to design sounds myself, I didn't even like the presets in it. So if the presets weren't, you know, intriguing to me, like, I don't think I could make anything better than the machine already had to offer. But I don't know. So yeah, it wasn't for me. Seems to be a groove box. Yeah, definitely. Could be amazing. Arturia's take on TR-8S. I don't know much about that. I swear I've seen it, but it's like the T1000 is a sampler. Yeah, it's a sampler, but it's really just for drums. Yeah, that's kind of my thought, where you can sample drums and then just, like, you know, throw LFOs at them and filters and pitch and all that kind of thing. Nah, it's not a sampler. What's up, Cap 10? Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be like a machine MPC type device. Honestly, it would be amazing if they brought their virtual synthesis into it as plugins. But the price, is there a price already available on what this might be? I had not seen anything about that. Or do you mean like the plugin prices? I wonder what Roland brings for quarter 4 and TE. TE got beat with the sample, so they got to up their game. Didn't they just drop like a pretty decent update for the TE stuff for the EP133? And Roland gets to be weird and release more IRA devices. If they did a bigger P6, that would be dope. Yeah, I mean, I've heard the P6 actually has some cool functionality that the SP doesn't. Like, I believe it has non-destructive chopping. Also, I mean, they could all side drum on us. The side drum, that was the Sonicware thing, wasn't it? Not that I'd be into that at all, honestly. Yeah, I never tried the side drums. But that's another example of a company who does stuff like that. I mean, TE is doing it. I completely forgot about those with the EP 133 with the rhythm, and then like you were just saying, what was it? Sonicware. They got the Lo-Fi 12XT and the sample track and the side drums. I like synths, but only as texture or background enhancer of acoustic sound and always filtered. Interesting thought. Man, the dream machine for me is the Live 3, bro. Cool. I'm saving to get it maybe in the next 2 weeks. Really want that Ableton flow and buttons at the top. Well, man, lots of respect to you for saving up, man. That's probably the way to go about it. I need to cut out the putting things on credit kind of deal. I'm impatient though, so. But I think that's why I'm gonna use these streams to serve as just kind of a way of getting it out, you know. And then I'm definitely gonna do a gas station stream. That's why I really been liking this. There's a lot of stuff, and then just having an iPad. I think having an iPad with the one of these is just like a good combination to have, you know, because iPad's dope for expanding functionality, things that you want to do that, you know, one of these machines might be too limited to do. No, I haven't seen the price. I'm speculating the price would be really high if they did that, like one of their labs with drums. I just built side cheeks stands for my XL, waiting for it to dry. Ooh, that's gonna be interesting to see. Cool. Are you just gonna build boxes for everything now? Kind of sounds like what you're doing. That's pretty dope though. I would definitely like that kind of thing, you know, for all my machines pretty much. I actually kind of want one for my iPad because that thing is like an instrument and a big integral part of my whole setup. So one thing I'm kind of curious, I mean, this could be, even if this was drum synthesis, it could be kind of interesting. One thing I've been meaning to look at, I never saw too much about it, but the polyend, I'm gonna pull it up just as a bonus thing for today, since we're talking about drum synthesis possibly in the DrumFreak. This thing is super pricey though, and I want to watch some videos on it. I think it's called Polyend Drums. This thing looks wild. But again, if it's synthesis, I'm like, unless I'm sure that's probably what it is. Let's go to our guy Zams. This thing just looks intriguing. Look at this thing. This is about the price of. This is the price of a 2000 X or a MPC XL. So, just like some real intricate drum synthesis. Has anybody looked at this thing at all? Checked any videos out? See what it's all about? So you got step sequencing. It just looks intriguing. I just got two 19-inch racks, DJ table, sidekick, mixer, case, and this XL stand, and new woodworking skills. So you really just kind of jumped into the woodworking. That's what's up. I keep hearing about polyends. Is that polyend, you mean? Banning devices and not updating them. They kind of seem like they throw these things out in the world and then just kind of walk away. Huh. Well, I mean, maybe they're just like, they don't want to be on that same wave like everybody else where they upgrade every few months or a year. I mean, it wasn't like this like 20 years ago, right? A lot of those MPCs, they had maybe a couple, like one update or two updates, and that was it. So yeah. You guys got any more speculation? That's about all my thoughts on it, man. I wanted to look at it, and I guess maybe we'll see what's up in the next few days on what's going on with this Arturia thing. I don't have a lot of Arturia. I like some of their products. I mean, I've used their controllers. Astrolab had for a little bit. Keystep. But other than that, I haven't used much of their products. So it would be interesting. And they're kind of it should be interesting what they move into, because they were, I think, solely like well, not solely. They were a software company with some MIDI controllers, but they just expanded into standalone devices with the Astrolab. So this is a curious thing, and what direction they might take it. It's kind of hard to say what it might be. All the Christmas money is disposable, so are the products. Xmas time. Yeah, well, those are my thoughts. Where we at? We're about 40 minutes in. You guys have any other thoughts? Anything else you want to talk about or take a look at? I'm just chilling now. Maybe I'll pull up one of the... Have you guys honestly seen this Polyend thing? Maybe I'll pull up a video. We'll watch that for a second, because I've been wanting to watch it. Might as well while I'm here. Let's see. Polyend. Let's go to YouTube. Close it down. Polyend drums. Okay, here we go. Polyend drums.
Introducing Polyend Drums, an analog and digital drum machine designed to feel immediate, sound exceptional, and give you more ways to create with less to think about.
This thing kind of looked like that new TR-1000 from Roland.
Drums let you build beats with depth, movement, and character. Years of experience in developing sequencers led us to our most advanced and intuitive sequencing system yet. Generative algorithms, randomization, parameter locks, pattern chains, live recording, multiple track play modes, polyrhythms, and much more. Everything is deep when you need it and immediate when you want to move fast. Drums is built for live performance too. Pattern switching is instant, sound kits change immediately. You have quick access to every important parameter, nothing is hidden. The XOY fader lets you morph a kit between two different versions.
I do like that about it, that every feature is on the surface.
Dial in each parameter by hand, or use the smart randomizer to create new variations, control accidents, and unexpected starting points. This is Polyend Drums.
There you go. I mean, it's kind of interesting. Not really my thing though. You can't perform drums on there. It's not my type of sound. I might use some of those types of sounds and mix them with like acoustic sounds. That's what I used to do, at least. I'd take the 808 and layer it with some like vinyl acoustic drums and just make some like bigger drums. But well, they have the Drum Brute in the Poly Brute and all those other Brute devices. From are those like very, are you mentioning that because they're like similar in like the form factor? MKII taking their time with an MPC sample update. What's up, Claymore? Yeah, how long has this thing been out? I mean, it hasn't been that long. It's just they released an update like within the first month, and it did add some nice things. Nothing big, but that just made it easier to navigate, like I forget what it was called, just like the knob control. That was the main thing. But I have a Drum Brute awful machine, really, and you keep it. Son, what's up, man? Yeah, I think it was actually you who I think I saw Bolo's video on the DrumFreak, and he was referencing yours. So I think other than the two of you, No one has really talked about this thing. I love the LM drum for hands-on use. So much fun. Yeah, the LM drum. What's the Behringer Lindrum clone? Be jamming. What is good? Toneverk is my dream MPC. Right on. So that's what you're on now. Did you sold the sample, didn't you? I was just referring to saying that they have been making hardware. Oh, okay. I hear you. I was wrong. Just so you know, other than controllers, they've been at it for years. Yeah, you're right, man. My bad. I've just never used any of those. Being the nature of synthesis, not really my thing. But yeah, you're right. I had overlooked that. So. What is that? The map machine doesn't look good to me. Bash Ali, what's good, man? Loving your sample for sure. That's good. Oh, that machine doesn't look, the Arturia. Yeah, it doesn't really have the vibe that I like, but I mean, another one is the 1010 Bento. Like I mean, I'm just weird about the pad layout. I much rather have the 4x4 because I'm so used to MPC. But if the functionality is there that caters, that's closer to like the workflow that I want, then I'm interested. And I guess that's something that does interest me. And one thing that bores me about the MPC, I guess, is all the endless pages and all that. And part of the reason why I love the 404 so much is like everything is physical knobs and buttons, and it's pretty straightforward. Although people say there's all the hidden combinations and all that, I don't think it's that bad. And I mean, you can label your machine like I've been doing here, or people have made skins. You can make a skin that has some of that stuff written on it. So, you know, like I've got labels here for things that aren't really on the surface that are useful, and so that's good enough for me. But yeah, I like the hands-on thing. So that's what this looks like with the DrumFreak. It doesn't look like it's most likely not going to be a touch screen. I guess it possibly could be, but nah. But it looks like it has enough control where everything is pretty straightforward and labeled. You got like 8 encoders there, you know, and I'll probably have like a equivalent visual where you can you know, change the parameters of certain effects or whatever. Maybe we have sound edit, so you maybe have like a start endpoint kind of thing for sample chopping. So that intrigues me about it. The only thing that I guess you just got to see what it is, but the thing that I don't like is the 2x8 pad layout, which is similar to the 1010 Bento. But I am still curious about the 1010 Bento. Like I'm not gonna be a fanboy of any company specifically. I do have a certain way of working that I appreciate in like a layout, but I'd be willing to get past it if the features are conducive to me, you know, in my creative process. And I don't need a lot. Like I just want enough to write and record cool, let's just call them demos, like, you know, raw stuff, and enough effects to kind of like make decisions. Like the SP gives me enough to make decisions because I can easily resample stuff. I don't need to have the non-destructive ability like the MPC. It's nice to have those inserts, right? And I would appreciate that in something like the SP because I appreciate the simplicity of just being able to turn a knob here, press a button, and then I'm there, versus a touch screen of endless things. But oh man, Pro, what's good? The SP44 Mark II has most of the features that I would want in an MPC. They both just miss some marks on implementation. Yeah, so that's what it is, and that's why I'm doing this stream, man. It's like I said earlier, it's just like indulging in the endless pursuit for the perfect machine. You know, a perfect piece of gear. It's not going to exist, you know. But as long as I got a platform, I think I'll talk about certain things I think would make things better. And I just it's kind of lazy on it. Like I could do a stream like that with maybe I'll do that, you know, for the MPC sample. Maybe that could be just like a bring out both machines and talk about what would make them Because really, if you merge the two, I think you'd almost be there at what would be a perfect little machine, right? Like this just needs some of what this does in here, and this also needs a little bit of what this does in here, and then you're like solid. So there's no way this DrumFreak is a sampler for anything other than one-shot drums. You think? But then, I mean, you can't deny that it's also going to have a synth in it at the very least, so you can play in scale and play chords, right? Do you think, like the sounds button that's at the bottom there, I think that's separate from the sample button, right? Like this isn't the browser for samples. That's probably this button, or maybe that's just the way to get into your sampler screen for recording samples. Oh, you have a browse button here. I didn't really stop to look at this. I mean, let's look at this for a minute. Got an edit function button. So yeah, I would definitely say this is not touchscreen, since they don't really make any touchscreen products anyways. And just looking at it, it looks like a button for button functionality type of thing. Save, another button here, or it says sound, not sounds. Filter, track. You got a master section, that's cool. Mods, modulation, assign. It's gonna work. 16 works is like, and press one of these step sequence, and has other functionality. When you press the track button, you can select. I'm gonna guess that. Say, and maybe even 16. You hold the pad. You got steps. What is this? These might, I don't know if these A, B, C, D, and then they have a corresponding number, A1, B2, C3, D4. So those could be like banks. So we got the numbers down here too. So you got A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. You go all the way to H though, and all the way to 8. So that's interesting. And then there's a notes button. I wonder if that is a little bit more. I think it's a little soon saying it's just drum synthesis, but it could possibly be just drum synthesis. Also have a synth engine for playing melodies and chords and all that. Copy paste over here and erase, undo. Yeah, definitely all stuff that's good to have. One thing I'm not seeing though. Oh, okay. Yeah, we got the transport at the top left. Tap tempo. And what is this? Metronome. So let's turn the metronome volume up. Dedicated button for metronome volume. Hey, that'd be good for me for, times while I'm streaming and I just forget the metronome's on and y'all are annoyed by the loud ass metronome. Sesh Beats, what's up? Excuse me. Sesh Beats, what's good? Drum synth, not melody synth. Arturia's ecosystem dictates this is strictly a drum synth. Doubt they hit any aspect of the sample market. How do you look at those chord buttons, note buttons, sounds button, and think there's no synth in here? You even have a keyboard button right there at the bottom. See that? Keyboard. There's a mute button, select. So I don't know. When I saw the keyboard button earlier, I thought maybe that's the keyboard to pitch your samples. But then you also have a notes button. So which is which? Maybe notes puts you into like a grid view. That would make more sense, maybe, meaning that it's in that area up there in the middle next to the step sequencer buttons. Ah, so you're just now seeing the chorus button, Ali Star. Do not get the 10-ton bento. It's total trash right now. Did you try it? You have been warned. It's been out a while to be saying that. That's wild. 1010's quite a bit of a smaller company, isn't it? I just like it on as far as like the form factor and functionality. It seems cool. Like it seems kind of like one of the closest things to being an in between an SP and an MPC because you got touchscreen and some DAW-like abilities. But yeah, I hear you. I don't know. So what else we got up here under the transport? Got a looper in there. XY macros. What is that? Spice? What is the spice for? That's something that's on the MicroFreak, isn't it? And then you got like this airplane looking thing. I think it says effects under it. So I'm definitely gonna keep an eye on this and just to see what it develops to be, because no matter what, I always like to see new samplers come out, you know, regardless. Like I might take a peek, like like the tone vert kind of caught my attention, but ended up not really necessarily being something that I need or would want. B Jammin seems to love it. Maybe I think we have slightly different needs or wants when it comes to hardware pieces. Like, what do you love about it if you're still in here, B Jammin? What specifically about the tone vert? I know that it's like, I think its stronger point is multi-sampling, right? But it doesn't have. Does it have chopping? Need us an MC 1000 from Roland that would set the gas on fire. Yeah, that's not one that I really know too much about. MC 1000. Yes, let's pull it up. Is that an old model? And then you're saying like they should like redo it? I think this really would be the time for Roland to bring out the MV, like the 8000 style thing. Did you mean MV or MC? Because I've typed in MC. There's no official product called the MC 1000. So what would that be? Is that just some idea that you have? MC 909? Oh, so like an upgraded MC 909 is what you're saying? Okay, I actually kind of pictured that when you said that. So this groove box here. So you want to see something like this on eBay, and it's still going for a price. Is this drum synth? It's a groove box. MC 707 update. The MC 707 is pretty much I had the 101, right? Isn't that the same kind of idea? You got groove box, sampler, and rompler like in one with like all the Zen core stuff. Yeah, this one, because I had the 101 and I didn't like the workflow, but I liked the overall idea. So I think I had briefly looked at this, because it's a sampler too, right? But then you also actually have some sort of a screen going on there. Just want to look at the screen a bit. That's interesting. It has a whole grid. Come on, Roland. Let me get a grid like that in my SP. All right, we're at noon, so yeah, I'm probably about to jump off of here, fellas. AF Major, what's good, man? How you doing, man? We're just doing some lightweight speculation here, just looking at stuff, indulging, a little guilty pleasure, I guess. Yeah, but about to jump off, man. I kind of went through everything that I wanted to look at and talk about here today, and got one of these streams in, so I appreciate everybody kicking it, hanging out. MC 909, 707 are part of the same lineage. And then the 101 somehow fit in there too. But yeah, I think it's like the Roland MV 8000 series was like ahead of its time and way too soon, but it seems like it would be a good time for it. But that would match up more like with the MPC XL, right? Just that form, which is not really something I'd be looking for. I definitely would love to have an XL, but just doesn't fit my lifestyle. So portable groove box is what I'm really just dreaming about, just the right one. But yeah, I'm gonna jump off here. I appreciate y'all kicking it. Y'all peace to everybody. And I'll probably see you later this week. I'm gonna try to get a video done too. I better get that on the priority list then before coming and doing another one of these streams. But yeah, I appreciate y'all. We'll talk later, all right?